Hello, my name is Mo Henstrom, and this is my Project 1 demo for ECE544. So first I'm going to show off the hardware detection, and we can see that it's using the hardware detection because of this LED here. Sorry, let me just get this going. Okay, so we can see the values over here going from 0 to 100 for saturation and value, and then it'll go from 0 to 360, so we'll just go, see, we go up and down. There is some issues with debouncing on that, especially on the wraparounds. So going from 100 to 0 or from 359 to 0, there are some issues there. So let's check the pulse width modulation. So also as we wrap around here, I've noticed that sometimes the detection is a little bit off, maybe like one step off. And then if you move, like if you go up and down with the buttons very rapidly, or do a rapid rotation of the rotary shift, sometimes the pulse width, the duty cycle numbers that display here will be a little bit off. But here's a good example of this showing the proper one. We can see here we have the detected versus the calculated, and this is for the red. And then if we go into, let's see, sorry, one second. If we go here and we look at blue, or sorry, this is green, then we get zeros, which makes sense. And if we look at blue, we're really low on those numbers as well. But going back to red, so that's an example of the red working with the hardware. I'm going to go ahead and as quickly as I can. You'll have to bear with me. I didn't do anything to make the rotary shaft increment faster, and I'll go ahead and leave the saturation and value numbers at between 90 and 100, just so that it's easier to see those showing up here on the OLED. But as I turn the rotary, you'll notice that it doesn't actually go very fast. It just increments pretty much at the same rate. So just bear with me. We're going to get this up to, it'll be 120, will show us the green more properly. You can see that the pulse width numbers are decreasing, and you'll notice that sometimes they do take a second to synchronize, especially as I move up and down here rapidly. But here we're still on the red channel, and we're getting close to that 120, and now we can see that we have a very, very low here. And then if we check, this is going to be green, and that one's showing us the 96% again. And then if we check blue, we should be getting something similar, yeah, to the red. And again, we can see those are 120, 100, and 98%. So now we'll rotate this up to the 240. Again, this is all still in hardware. You can see as we're getting, those blue numbers are getting closer and closer to the maximums. And this will be at 240 is our true blue, if you will, highest blue value. So let's get this, there we go. Again, this is one of those quirky things. I'm not sure why sometimes when I'm rotating on the rotary, this display isn't updating properly, and that's been one bug that I have had a bit of trouble, but usually just tapping on one of the push buttons will help to resolve that. So, let's get this back to 240, there we go. Okay, so we are on blue, and we can see that this is correct, and then if we check the green, we're now updating there, and that's really low. And then if we check red, again, very low. So this is all pretty much what we would expect. So now checking the software, I've toggled this, the first switch there, so now we can see that we are in the software detection rather than hardware detection. And again, we're getting these really low numbers for the red duty cycle. Sorry. And if we check, here's green, again, very low, same as what we were getting with hardware. And here we have the blue, very high, what we would expect. I guess I can go ahead and actually just leave it on blue for now. We'll go back down to green, so we're going in the opposite direction as we came up for the hardware. We'll go down to 120, and then back to the 0 and 360 border area for the red. Had some trouble there on the 200. Oh, it's because my... There we go. And you can see those blue numbers are starting to decrease. Once again, as I go quickly through these, it tends to have some issues with syncing up properly. If you go slowly, it tends to do a lot better. Still occasionally getting those blips, but that's one little bug that's had a bit of issue. Okay, so now we're at 120. We see the blue is low again. And then as we switch to green, this should be very high. There we go. And if we switch to the red, again, very low. Exactly what we would expect. We'll go ahead and keep it on the red there while we decrement this. All right, we can start to see that as we're getting really close to that 0 degree, that we are getting the high numbers again. So here we go, wrapping around to 359 at a very high number, you know, increasing the saturation up a bit. Right, adjust it up a bit, yeah, see. And then let's check green. We should be getting very low numbers. See, there we go. And again with blue, getting very low numbers. So that's what we expect. I didn't really implement any additional functionality with this beyond, I mean, I assume you've seen the decimal point, which I think was just part of the requirements. Blinking, I placed it in between the calculated and detected, mostly just to help me visually differentiate. I also added in this little symbol over here. So there's a lowercase b, which is actually just a 6. And then, no, it's actually not just a 6. It is a lowercase b. So I added in a lowercase b, and then I added in, you can see here, I used a 9 for the G, lowercase g, and then this is it looks like an A, but it is technically the uppercase R variation that I think we used in the Rodrobot project. I can't remember where. I think it was the Rodrobot project that I got those specs from for the 7-segment display. So this is my project. Thank you. Oh, and then termination. Let's see. You wanted it with the rotor by pushing the knob. Okay. So if we push this down, program is terminated. That is my project.